Welcome to Disembodied Screams. Spoilers, this time definitely spoilers. Check out now and come back after you see this movie. With all that said, let's get started and start with this. One of the biggest highlights in this movie is the setting. There is something about movies being set in the 80s that worked for me. No smartphones, no computers, no way to stay connected when you're in trouble, and times are rough and tough, and landlines are easily cut. It's the best way for a villain to isolate you from the world. Can't do that today when you got computers and smartphones. And what's it also say in my notes? Bravo for choosing that time period to set this movie in. The 80s retro revive also works extremely well with the backdrop of a slasher movie. The decade that so many of them were born in, and the score, loved it, matched that time and place perfectly. And it was the first thing that jumped off at me from the jump. Something about the old synth score that just gives me major nostalgia vibes. Hot cup of coffee. This is my 6th time trying to record this episode because my voice keeps cracking. So let's keep going. The other thing that jumped off at me from the jump was a direction by Brandon Christensen, who directed Superhost, which I liked a lot. His camera work in this movie led to a lot of great suspenseful moments, and there were a few awesome jump scares that got me good. I should have seen them coming, but I didn't. I like the way he built the scene with his direction and then gave you that nice loud jump scare to cap it off. That worked really well. The final girl, played by Jessica Clement, was great in her role. Glad I didn't watch the trailer because I thought Summer Howe's character, who was also great, was going to be the final girl. So when she went down at the start, I was like, who's the final girl? I saw the thumbnail from Shudder with Summer Howe and the villain, and that was all I saw. Nothing else really from it. And I thought she was going to be the final girl. So it was a nice twist. Sheriff, played by Ryan Robbins. I liked him a lot too. Big muscular guy. Played the role extremely well. Gore was minimal for a movie like this, but there are some good gory moments. One great head explosion that I did not see coming. It's one of those you're like, whoa, because it was kind of overall tame compared to most slasher movies throughout the movie. As far as slasher movies goes, when you saw that head explosion, I was like, well, that took me by surprise. Really good one there. Story and script are solid. Really like the twist. Kept me guessing until the very end. It's hard to turn a slasher movie genre formula sort of on its ear, as we say in the States, and give you something different. But they did a nice job with the twist there. Also like that Dark Knight style monologue at the end with the sheriff and the girl. We're talking about having to basically live with their guilt of what they had done and live with the truth, so to speak. And I wasn't even sure I would call it guilt. I mean, they were survivors fighting to survive, so calls had to be made, right? Also, what else did I say in my notes? I like the fact that it was a female serial killer and not a male this time. That's a nice twist. You don't get a lot of that in movies. Killer looked great with that skeleton mask and that black robe. Stands out among... also really like the... Okay, I'm trying to readjust myself here. Speaking of the killer, looked great with that skeleton mask and that black robe. Also really like the poster to this movie. Stands out among a crowded sea of movies. And I liked enough that the poster and title were enough to put my butt in the seat. Like I said, I saw the thumbnail, saw the poster, saw the title. I was like, slasher movie, sold. All in all, glad I watched this one. Let's get on to that haiku. I'm going to get a sip of coffee and give my voice a rest for just a moment. That's it. What are your thoughts about Night of the Reaper? Do you enjoy movies set before cell phones and computers? Does it add more suspense to the movie? Let me know all that in the comments below. October is going to be busy. 2 episodes a week, dropping at 3 p.m. East Coast time, which is New York time, 1,500 hours. And those episodes will drop on Wednesdays and Fridays. Thankfully, I got those done before this cold. Subscribe so you won't miss an episode. Diving into Until Dawn, Clown on a Cornfield, The Monkey, Monster Island, back to the 80s with Humanoids from the Deep, the 70s with Zombie, and one of my all-time favorite zombie movies, probably top 5 zombie movies of all time. I'm also going to revisit some older episodes, so to that kind of tie into some of the ones I did, like I thought Clown in a Cornfield paired well with, I can't think of the movie off the top of my head, but anyways, you'll get Clown in a Cornfield on Friday, then you'll get that movie on the Harvest movie. I have to think of the name of it. I might put it on the screen right here. And then you'll get like The Monkey, and then I'll do a revisit of Longlegs, because, Osgood Perkins, that kind of stuff. So, all in all, that's October, and I'm also going to start a new series on October 31st, where I'm going to dive into heavy metal and horror and pull them apart and figure out how horrific are these metal albums. Fulci is the first band that I'm starting with. They do concept albums based on Lucio Fulci's movies. They're death metal. They do a lot of growling. But if you like brutal, intense music, Fulci is a big recommendation. All right, I think that's it. Officially done. Now, voice held up. Sorry for the mumbo jumbo and the scrambling of words, but I'm going to shut up and get on out of here now. All right, take care. Have a good one.